I didn't mean to press record, so now I'm stuck. I'm like, okay, now you're on. Go, go, go. I've just been sitting here. So I want to give you the best information that I can render, right? Because it is my purpose. It is why I make these videos. I find it that, put it to you this way, when I was very young, I was quickly, how could I put it, pushed into, threatened, made to buy into the version that I needed to get tough. And there's several types of toughness. Like I said, as a martial artist, as a fighter, you kind of, you get that itch out of the way because, well, it doesn't bother you, anymore. It's you showed yourself that you're able to handle yourself physically, mentally, too, because it does involve your mental state, how you're gonna approach the event. But I find that it is the same with everything. So this whole toughness thing was because they thought I was too sensitive. My own parents, the people around me, my uncles, my aunts, they called me names. One time my aunt called me, "Shut up, you little faggot," because I was crying and crying and crying. And my dad was around, and how can you call his son a faggot, right? So he quickly told my aunt to never again do that. But still, the belief was that I was too sensitive and that I needed to get tough. And the whole time I was thinking, well, maybe people just need to get nicer. As a kid, I was thinking that way because my first thought of the exterior, meaning people that weren't necessarily my family, was that people were mean. And I thought right away why are people so mean? I mean, as a kid, I was thinking that. So when I was constantly told that I needed to get tough, that I needed to stop being so sensitive, that I needed to get mean, and I thought, well, maybe people just need to get nicer. And still, to this date, I still believe the same thing. And I realize that sensitivity isn't a bad thing. The fact that you're able to sense, that's what a lot of people forget. Because I'm able to sense bullshit quickly, especially after what I've been through, and I'm sure, if you're watching, if you watch my videos, you kind of get a sense that, we both, you and me, watching, you watching me here, speaking to you, we've been through the same things, we've been through we suffer the abuse of our environment, and that is not to make us so like, oh, we're victims, and but it is a fact that we were victims of our past, of us being just these little kids who just were looking around, watching people do stuff, and we just emulated it, or being told that what you were doing was always wrong, and things like that, and again, it's not like being defensive, or it's not feeling like, oh, well, yeah, poor us or anything. It's because there's a badge of honor that you have to wear, on your sleeve, about it, because it's you've been through it. Because sometimes I pose a question to people, How would you treat an angel? Like I mentioned before, I believe that a lot of us are angels with amnesia. We just forgot to that we were, because again, our environment told us that wasn't such a thing, or that our ideas weren't accepted because we were just kids. You see what I'm saying? And as I've always said, you know, because I was one, I believe that every child knows exactly what they want at a very young age because they already know their purpose. In fact, a lot of them still remember their last lifetime, Um, so, talking about lifetimes, this is, I, as many lifetimes as we get in our soul journey, you're gonna bump into lifetimes that you would never imagine. Like myself, being a woman in another lifetime. Well, of course, and I'm, when now that I do these kinds of things, I'm like, oh, it makes sense, that certain things will still linger, and that is one of those things that help you decipher who you are, and these are the things that the angels and God are constantly pointing out. And unfortunately, because the belief system that we were taught in our, from our what we learned from our environment was that if it didn't fit the norm, what you were told, what you've seen that is accepted, then basically you're gonna be crucified over it, basically. Yes, to put it more dramatically, but basically you're gonna be punished for bringing up anything that is weird or anything that's basically, again, outside of the accepted list of acceptable behaviors, and whatever you can bring into the picture, which in turn kind of reminds you of a child's need for to be something. Again, they want to know, they already know what they want to do, and when they bring it up, people could say that, well, that field doesn't even exist. It's like, well, yeah, but we don't know what's gonna be existing in the next 20 years. Just in the last few years, you've seen how many careers have sprung out of nowhere, basically out of the need to supply for people. So sometimes the people don't even know that they have a need for something, and you are delivered onto this planet, onto this existence for you to not only find out who you are, but find out that you have skills, and put them to work and basically fulfill your purpose. It's as simple as that. Again, I've given you the example of a parachuter, being dropped off in enemy territory. You end up getting surrounded, but you do come with equipment, you do come with your skills, and basically they help you, get around these things, especially being surrounded, and because, you and I know that sometimes it does feel like you are surrounded, but this is how you also decipher these things, just I was looking at the glasses that I was about to wear, and this is how you decipher who it is that you are and what it is that you need to be doing. That at first I didn't want to come out like this because I want people to take me seriously, right? So when I wear little glasses with flowers on the side, on the frames, I don't want people to think I'm being a clown. This is just what my soul wants me to do, is as a form of just feeling comfortable. And again, the example I was going to give you was that when I look at these things and I went and put them on, because I can't see a damn thing. Look how it changes my face, and I don't like the way it make me look. And I looked at it like, nah. And then plus they're not necessarily that clean. And when I put these back on, I was like, well, they just look funner. So I had my answers. I just wear these, But it's the same thing with what you're doing. This is how you're going to decipher what the best plan of attack will be, or what it is that you need to be doing, by weighing these things out. Here's what the world is telling me. This is what my soul is telling me. Who you're going to listen to. the world. You've been doing it your whole life. I think it's about time you start listening to your spirit, to that force inside you that already knows, somehow already knows. Why? Because it is connected to the big kahuna, to the big light. Remember, you're a spark. If God was a big tree, you'd be a splinter off of it. Okay? So get that through your thick skull. No, because you have to, if you start to accept that, well, you have to remember the importance of intention. The ones you have an intention, everything is starting to, all the particles, if you will, start to form around this particular force, this particular thought vibration that you're putting out, this signal. This reminds me of when I was a fitness trainer. I used to tell my clients, you have to tell the four winds. Because I got the idea from Gone with the Wind. See, all this girly stuff just keeps, but it guides me to the best, to some of the best things. Again, like I said, it's just this intuitive nudge that you get, and that when she's sitting there, it's like, as God as my witness, I will never go hungry again. She's telling the four winds. What's her intention? That she'll never go hungry again, right? That's what I had in mind when I would tell my clients, tell the four winds, but essentially because I didn't know the term, or let's just say basically what the term entailed. But basically it is having that intention, that if your intention is to close the gap between where you are and where God is, then that gets everything going. Because I was just thinking about what Einstein said, because I've said this in other videos and I don't want to repeat myself, but it's important that we keep reminding ourselves that, for instance, what Einstein said was that, after so many accomplishments, people were like, well, now what? And it's like, well, all I want to do now is just see the world or see life as God sees it. See the world as God sees. See with the eyes of God. Think with the mind of God, or with the heart of God. It's a poetic way of saying, that I just want to be. And again, there's the theological side. You start screaming, oh, you want to be like God. No. Because he, like father, like son, basically, like they say that the apple don't fall far from the tree. It is in your nature to be benevolent. It is in your nature to be good. So when you're being good, it feels good, and you get all the synchronicities, all the signs to let you know you're doing really good, and that makes you feel even better, and then you start seeing everything manifest, and that you wish for, and the best part is the protection that you get, because you are protected. And that's the thing, that as I was sitting here contemplating what am I gonna speak about, and it's just the need to remember that you are divine in nature, that you are here for a purpose, and that purpose is always being, let's just say that the guiding post, the guiding light, the guiding signs are always there, because this is what I used to dream about all the time. They were actually like nightmares. I used to have nightmares about running towards home. Just, I need to get home. That was it. I would wake up all sweaty and like this longing, and ever since I let God into my life, basically, when I said, I just want to be good, and my intention was to be good, and I just want to be in line with you, God, and I just want to feel like you feel and see what you see and love like you love. Little after that, those dreams stopped. I say little after that because I went through this whole transition. It's like, I know because I've said before, everything's better with spirit, and it is. But here's the the part that has a little asterisk at the bottom, and it's highlighting in yellow, and it's like Surgeon General's warning. Is that your life as you know it, once you have made the wish to do that, to devote yourself to your purpose, to close the gap between you, where you are, and God, your Father, you're going to be, life as you know it is going to be stripped away from you, and it's going to hurt. It's going to hurt. You're going to see a lot of people being literally taken away, but in essence what's happening is that you're being rescued. So everything that you knew as your life will crumble apart. It's what in tarot is called as a tower moment, because things will just start falling apart, because, as I mentioned before, with a leaf falling off of a tree, everything everything you don't need needs to be shed away. It needs to be basically, it needs to be. Think of a sculpture. It's hacking away what it doesn't need anymore to reveal, the true piece of art, the true beauty that is meant to be seen inside that rock. Basically, what you don't need needs to be pieced away. It needs to go away so that the real you can reemerge. This is why there's always stories about, the phoenix and, a rebirth, especially that rebirth. A lot of people talking about being reborn, and it happens to all of us. It is a process that you have to undertake, especially when, your soul is, is your number, basically, that you need to evolve to the next phase, and these things happen. And so when I say, that everything is great with spirit, and everything is great with spirit, but only the brave can get through it. And you, questionably, you are, because after what you've been through, it's like, well, I haven't gone this far, to quit now, right? So you just continue on, because it feels like it is the right thing to do, and you just continue on and forging on and just following the light, following your bliss, understanding that whatever it is that you learn in your early years, it was nothing but misinformation, that was making you create, as the co-creator of your life, was making you create the same things that other people around you were creating, and you started to believe that life was that way, but you starting to realize that it's not. It doesn't have to be. Because, if you want to suffer from a nightmare or jump into a nightmare, just believe whatever stories people tell you. But if you're the co-creator of your life, you want to build your life. Put the stuff that you want to see there, and stay stubborn until you do. Because essentially what you're trying to do is eliminate the conditioning that makes your mind create the things that you don't like, right? And so again, we don't need that stuff, so we can shed away the unessentials, hack it away, get rid of it, right? Because really, when you think about it, it's like a lake, and there's garbage on it, right? The lake, the clearness of that lake, the purity of that water is still underneath. Well, what do we need to do is just clean all the crap off, get rid of it, right? And then you're gonna see that radiance of that crystalline, divine makeup that you are. Everything about you is divine. So it's just all the other crap is covering, right? So the point is to get rid of all that stuff. Understand that you don't need it. As you as the son or the daughter of the great big light, you don't deserve any of that stuff. So you must get rid of it. Again, you'll know, like I said, you're gonna weigh it out. And you'll know. And then you're gonna keep making your way through life by feeling. It's not, trust me, because I'm a chronic overthinker. I'm a professional overthinker. You don't want to be there. In fact, when you find yourself like this, stop yourself. Slap your hand, your lap, or your face if you have to. Get out of that and just start doing something. You know, I saw something really cool, and I'm going really long, but it's reminding me of other things, like a jumping spider. I found a jumping spider, and I love spiders because they offer so many great lessons, like rebuilding every time it breaks. I mean, think about how many times do they have to rebuild their own nest, because people, for whatever circumstances it breaks, they have to move. Other people, come and stomp on it, whatever. They always have to rebuild them. It's about starting over. And you have the skills to start over and over and over and over. So when you see a spider, it's what it's letting you know. It's like you may think that everything is lost, but you can start over. And with this jumping spider, it was like I was trying to hold, because it was in my hand, and I was like, no, you can't be there, baby. So I was trying to get it, somewhere else, like to my plant, because, and then this way you can have a nice place to hunt and everything. So I'm trying to move it, and she keeps jumping. I thought, no, baby, no, over here. It keeps jumping. But what I noticed was, like, what it was teaching me by his jumps is that it didn't know where it was going to land, if it was going to be safe where it was going to land. But it didn't matter. It's like, I'm going to jump there. I'll figure it out then what to do at that point. If I have to jump again, I'll jump again. But I just going to keep myself on the move. And this reminds me of the movie Avengers, and I was watching. Black Widow, another spider. Black Widow is sitting there after the Hulk, smacked her, I think, and the ship was kind of falling off of the sky, or the engines weren't working, so everything was falling apart. And Black Widow was sitting in a corner, just like this, like I told you, stuck in space, overthinking. And then Fury calls out for help. It's like, anybody out there, we need somebody to get somewhere, quickly. And Black Widow sitting there stuck in her mind, but and she's right away, she's still stuck, but she goes, this is Agent Romanoff, I'll be right there, or something like that. And she because internally she was thinking, I'm stuck, I'm afraid, I don't know what to do. But all I know is that I need to get unstuck. And I know that getting into action is going to be the one thing that is going to get me unstuck. This whole thing about just getting stuck, like I said, I'm a professional at it. I do it all the time, and I have that lesson. That was a big lesson for me. Like, screw it, like a spider, just jump from. When you land, you'll figure out what to do next. And when you're stuck, again, mentally, go. Because it's what's gonna make you get unstuck. Even if you're scared, go. Because it's what's gonna make you stop being afraid. God is always saying, this is what I've learned. That when you have a wish, you have a goal, you have something in your heart that needs to be expressed. And as much as you want it, God knows exactly how much you want it. And it's almost like a parent inside of a pool. And you're sitting in the edge and it's going, come on, I'll catch you. You can do this, I'll catch you. You sit standing there terrified. But essentially you have to remember that God will catch you. Take the jump. Go for it. How else can you express yourself, right? How else can you express that internal call? I mean, that's what it wants. Go. That's where you'll find peace. That's where you'll find purpose. That's where the answers are, and the going and the forward. Not on sitting there contemplating it like you may not be enough to meet the future. No, because God is always saying, come on baby, take the jump, I'll catch you. I mean, look at the spider just jumping from one place and it's like, screw it, I'm going. This guy ain't gonna get me. It's got away from me. I was able to get her to where I wanted by kind of like guiding her jumps, but yeah. You just have to remember that you are divine and you got help, because spirit is in the domain of all the elements. You don't believe me? You know what a particle is, right? And you know how they behave. They're always responding to you. Your specifications, the way you want to see things, the way you see things. It's as if they're just like, okay, what? And they just keep morphing into something else. Whatever it is that you're thinking, they'll just keep making it for you. That's pretty exciting, don't you think? But forget about, well, that's scary because, as many bad thoughts as I have, well, yeah, but that's the crap over the lake, over the pristine beauty, right? So let's start getting rid of it, because just like a tree, you gotta get rid of all your old stuff so you can flower again. See? When I started this video, I had no idea what I was going to speak about. And I got to the end. I keep jumping. Think about it. And feel about it.